What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's new episode. Currently, we are on our way to go train some jiu-jitsu. Just finished recording a podcast talking about UFC 310, kind of the main events. We got Shavkat, Ian Gary, also got Pantoja versus Asakura. So it's gonna be some good stuff. December 7th. I'm excited, and I think it's gonna be a good time, just overall. So, just getting ready to go train. And last week, if you guys tuned in to watch last week's episode, your boy kind of tweaked his back. I think I was stacked off a triangle. And if you guys, ever applied a triangle submission, or I've been stacked in a triangle, once you have that kind of position locked in, it is not a good feeling by any means. It's literally, they pick up your legs, squish you on the floor, your legs are put up, and I kind of felt something in my back after training. So today's going to be a little different just because we're going to have to train around it. There's a lot of different takes on training while injured. As long as it's not super serious or, something that, obviously needs some rest, I think that would be the case. But there's a lot of people who just really just train through the injury, which I don't think is the smartest way to go about it. But at the same time, like, if it's like you hurt your finger, you just wrap that thing up and get ready to go. It's like, as long as you're not trying to put yourself in that same position. And that's kind of the challenge that we're facing today, is really just trying to see how training is going to be. Definitely going to have to keep that in mind consciously while I'm training, and I'll let you guys know how it goes, just because there's going to be times where you are dealing with something and you kind of got to put that stuff at the forefront. Actually, put that stuff to the forefront and think about it and kind of weigh your options from there. It's only when I get into certain positions, like, I'll feel it, and it just, it doesn't feel good. I'm just trying to listen to my body. If there was pain, like if it was like constant pain, I'll take some days off, trying to rest it up. And, I've been doing some stretching, some light stretching, trying to see where it's at. But, if it gets too crazy during training, just, take the foot off the gas, and just going to do that for a little bit, and then we'll see where we could go from there. But injuries do happen, they do occur, but don't get too frustrated when it comes to it, just because they do happen. And it kind of shows me to be grateful for everything else. It's like once you get hurt or once you get sick, you really don't appreciate being healthy until you're sick. And trying to remind myself from those things helps me just appreciate things a little bit more. Having a body and being able to use the functions of it is a gift within itself. And I try to see that and appreciate it, especially in times where it's like it's you really don't. Nobody wants injury. No one wants to deal with anything. But I look up to a lot of people who kind of embrace the aspect of still showing up, still doing the thing, still working out, even though there's obstacles in the way. Obviously, if you guys are being reckless and being careless of your body, then you'll get results. It's kind of like a car. If you need to get oil change, you get an oil change. If you just ignore it and something goes wrong, you can't really blame anything else besides the driver. So it's kind of that same situation, and we might need a little maintenance update. So there's also things to do to help recover. There's cryotherapy and hyperbaric chambers and saunas and all that stuff to help with reducing inflammation and kind of getting the kinks out. All that stuff could be done, but it really takes some work, some thoughtfulness in order to be able to recover from those types of things. And I really enjoy kind of hearing different people's stories as well. A lot of people kind of hurt their hands or hurt their back, their shoulder, and still figuring out a way to deal with those things. I remember hearing Firas Zahabi talking about he's broken a few fingers during training, and it's not too uncommon to just like tape it up and get ready to go after it, instead of taking some time off, because time off is it's different for everybody else. But for me personally, if I take time off, it's kind of hard for me to get back on the horse, if that makes sense. It's really, I have to kind of gather myself, build some momentum, instead of just riding the wave of constantly going and not, holding myself back from doing those types of things. Say if it's making a YouTube video or making, going to training, going to the gym. If I start taking days off, then I start realizing kind of my discipline starts to fade away. And that's something that we would like to avoid. So just showing up, maybe if you hurt your knee, maybe still pull up to class, learn a technique, maybe help out a kid's class. You could still learn, regardless of your situation. It just takes a little bit of grunt work to get that through. So that's kind of the situation that we're in. And if you guys are in the same situation or kind of dealt with some things as well, let me know, and let me know what's helped you along the way. But that's kind of the thing that we're dealing with right now. There's always going to be aches and pains, but you want to make sure you take care of everything that is in your kind of in your control. And if you can't control it, let it play out. If you can't control it, make sure you put in the work. So that's what we got cooking up. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's get some training. Probably, I won't be surprised if we don't get any sparring footage. A lot of sparring footage this week, but I'll keep you guys updated on how training goes, what I thought about training, and kind of just like a afterthought. How can I say that? I'll talk to you guys after training, if that makes sense. We might get some sparring depending on how we feel, but that is we'll play that out. So let's go get on with the rest of this episode. Hope you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys like, subscribe. Let's get it. So we're actually able to get some type of sparring in. It was very light, very minimal, but it does still serve its purpose, especially when training with something. And I was able to feel it like right away doing warm-ups, doing like a back roll. I'm like, ooh. So a part of me was like, just keep it going, see how it feels, and kind of work through the pain. But then another part of me was just like, no, just chill, relax. One day is not gonna kill you. And then I just thought of like David Goggins, of all people, just kind of doing, I think he was on like what was he doing? He was on the elliptical, on just like a treadmill. Actually, he was on a treadmill, and he was just walking on his hands. I'm sure his knees are all jacked up, but dude was just straight up walking on his hands. And it's like, bro, like that dude's walking on his damn hands to get some work in. And there's no excuses. You can always work around things. There's always room to venture off and experiment. I mean, it's like you're not tied down to this one thing. You could really move around and see what kind of works for you. And you don't have to be tied up in this like one box to make sure you're good, to be able to train. It's like, you could still show up, you could talk to your professor, you could be like, hey man, I'm dealing with this, that, yada, 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 and work around this stuff, because it's a lot easier, to just chill at the house, hop on YouTube or watch some TV, and instead of going to train. But there is benefits to going and putting in the little work. So I think it's good, to even to share that. I'm sure I'm not the only one dealing with some type of back injury or shoulder injury. As long as it's not like overwhelming, or you feel like it's getting worse because you're training, that would be something to avoid. But do something like that. Get some light sparring in, try something else, experiment. Yep. So right now we are trying to focus up on video making and kind of experimenting as well with that. I really want to get like a writing process down. Growing up, I was the last person you wanted to get a book report out of. Very, very hard for me to sit down and to do things. But as I've gotten older, I've kind of just learned to enjoy the process of experimenting, sucking at first, and then getting better over time. And I would like to talk about certain books, movies, UFC events, and I think we could do something from there. So I think if I invested some time in that skill, we could eventually do something in that field. But like I said, in my youth, definitely not a strong suit. I remember doing book reports and my dad looking at the things that I would write. He's like, bro, what the hell is up with you, man? I'm like, So I had to learn how to apply myself in that type of area or field. But I feel like we can make some improvements there. And just like anything else, just small steps in a certain direction will help you kind of chug along. And so thank you guys for watching today's episode. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow, but overall just had a good session, and just wanted to share that kind of the current things I'm going through. One day you're good, one day you're not so good, and it could just happen. So you want to be ready for whatever, be grateful for whatever. So we'll get through this. We'll make sure we'll get back at it to normal training. But for now, we're gonna take it easy, recover, and I'll show you guys what I do to try to help out my espalda, because it is a little achy. So all right, thank you guys. Peace.